Just moments away from the resumption here at Albion Oval, all thanks to Balfours on the Adelaide Football Club and Port Adelaide Football Club live streams. The score, if you're just joining us, it's 15-12, 102, Port Adelaide leading the Crows 8-6, 54. The headlines in an injury sense, there's a big one and a devastating one for the Adelaide Football Club. Wayne Miller ruled out for this game and much, much longer, a serious knee injury. The Crows saying a ruptured patella tendon is the initial diagnosis. That's horrible news. That's as bad as it gets coming to a game like this, as you hope to avoid injury, and to a bloke who's just come back from 12 months out. I can't think of a worse storyline that could have played out today. The other news, Todd Marshall, he has been ruled out after a clash with Rory Sloane right in the middle of the ground. Sloane going back with the flight, Marshall coming out. He wore one right across the face. Got some bruising around the eye, so he won't return today. But nothing more long-term than that. And otherwise, just good signs. Port Adelaide, who have really kicked away after the first quarter when this was a competitive game.
So start of the final term at the Albion Oval, thanks to Balfours, Laddams and Riley O'Brien, who's been fantastic for Adelaide, always tries his heart out. Just went a bit early. Which way is that free kick going?
I think it's support. His hand just raked across Laddams' face, I think.
Laddams out of the middle for Port Adelaide, goes long. Charlie Dixon out on a lead. Didn't really get a good run at that one. Boak over the back. Was the first player back to read it well, and then they get it out towards the boundary line. A throw in left forward pocket for Port Adelaide. 15-12, 102 the power. The Crows 8-6, 54. Crows led early. They kicked the first 2 goals of the game and looked good in the first 5 minutes, but it's really been all Port Adelaide since then. Throw in Charlie Dixon. Gee, they all go to ground like 10 pins. Off hands, Port Adelaide a chance. Houston threads it through, gets it all the way to a one-on-one in the goal square. And Port Adelaide, Georgiadis has given away the free kick chance for the Crows to relieve from the last line of defence.
Yep, Murray gets it to Kelly, looking for O'Brien on the wing. The outlet is himself and is for the Crows. Takes a good strong mark there in front of former first rounder in Bergman. The Crows midfield needs to lift in this last quarter. They need to start showing a little bit of resistance. Here's Frampton leading up and attacking the football. He was electric early when the Crows were on. But as Porter's midfield have gotten on top and started to dominate possession of the football, the forwards have found pretty tough sledding. Laddams goes back and retreats to Hamish Hartlett. What's he going to do with that? How will Port move the footy and how do they approach this final quarter with 48-point margin at three-quarter time? Farrell doesn't want to go long. Gets it to Hartlett, runs around Keys. Does he open up an opportunity to pick out an uncontested target? He does, except it's Billy Frampton. It's not what he would have hoped. His former teammate, not currently wearing the power jumper. Now the kick up to a 2-on-1, and Cleary zones off and takes a good mark.
Read it very nicely at half-back. Cleary goes short. I've liked the mixture of Port Adelaide. They've really chipped the ball around a lot and have used a lot of players. And then when they have to, they've gone long, straight inside the 50. It's been a good variation.
They're loath to kick to a contest, aren't they? It's the last option at every time.
Yep, spot on. Burton at half-back. Across to Cleary. Loose players lining up for him. Over the top. Little pass to Hartley. He's got a Lear loose if he wants him. Ignores that option. Goes back. Now he sees something in the middle. And again, they're just picking out loose players. Houston. This one's not good, though. Oh, it put Jones right under the pump. Frampton stole it from him. Jones did well, butted up with the tackle. Murphy handballed through Seedsman. Can draw the player, Schonberg. Schonberg had 2 options either side. Keys ran into a bit of trouble, got rid of Hartlett. Has a shot at goal, and that's a real good goal for Adelaide and for Keys. Well played.
He's done well, Keys, getting ahead of the contest, starting on the ball, but he's kicked a couple of goals today. He did well there. I thought momentarily the fend-off on Hartlett might have looked a little bit high.
Yep. So 9-6-60, Adelaide, Port Adelaide 15-12, 102, thanks to Balfours here at the Albion Oval. And a lot of players hands on haunches. Very warm conditions out there. And getting into this final term, some tired players.
So the Crows kicked the first, narrow the margin to 42 points. 3 minutes gone in this last quarter. We'll go 30 minutes. It's the duration, no time on here at Albion Oval. Players getting accustomed to the new return length of an AFL quarter, which is great to see, albeit they probably wish it would waited until maybe summer had ended. But here we are today, 28, 29 degrees, 30-minute quarters, 4th quarter of a trial game with just one more to go until the season proper starts. It's O'Brien and Laddams in the middle. Laddams gets high. Neither made contact really until the ball came down and they both hit the ground. Schonberg in front of Drew. Charging out was Butters, who did really well. Houston's got it now. Just assesses his options, just has a moment to lower the eyes. He wanted Motlop. Over the back came Boak. Little smother came from Jones. He's been pretty quiet, Jones. Dersma on the deck. Georgiades goes in a second time. Here's Jones now on his right, kicks it up the wing. It's going to ask a bit of Frampton to apply pressure to Alir, who read it well. His kick is not what he was aiming for, I would have thought, unless Ditzy was trying to kick it to some of the free watchers in the bowling club that aren't there today. Yeah. Maybe sort of just a recognition of the bygone era. Here's Lynch, centre wing, defensive side. Now he's got a couple of... It's a bit of a 2-on-2, but no contest came, and Cleary was able to take an uncontested mark. And now Port Adelaide can move it quickly through Butters.
He loves to do that. He gets those little quick handballs going, runs and takes them on Butters, and he's done it again. Drew, Fantasia, just knew where his teammate was. Beautiful pass around the corner to Motlop. Motlop, very short, unselfish, squares it up, and Port Adelaide can have a shot from straight out in front, Travis Boak. The ball's in good hands.
Yeah, that looked awfully like the third quarter, just the way the ball was able to move there. Uncontested mark to Cleary at half-back when there was a 2-on-2. And then Crow was barely in the picture as the ball moved inside 50 and created this opportunity for Boak.
Came out very easily. But when Butters gets the ball in his hands, it just, something happens. The team starts moving quickly. He gets on with it quickly down the ground. And it's resulted in this mark to Boak, who took it from Motlop. So Boak, 35 out. Almost straight in front, pushes it right, and it's a minor score. Port Adelaide 15-13, 103, lead Adelaide 9-6-60, all thanks to Balfours here at the Alberton Oval. We've played 5.5 minutes of the final term, playing 30-minute quarters here today.
Brodie Smith will bring it back into play. Goes short. I can't remember that happening too many times. Jake Kelly takes the mark. Seemed to take them all by surprise. He was without an opponent on the defensive 50, up towards Frampton. Mark not paid. Looked like he had a fair bit of it.
Oh,
the umpire... is now called a free kick, has he? Well, that was a very bizarre sort of passage of play. Ends up with Laird, and the Crows will get it through McHenry, who slowly worked himself into the game. Hately's been a little bit quiet today. On his right, can he create a scoring opportunity for his forwards? Lynch has been caught behind. Jones was in front. Did he get hit in the head? Jones, no. Keys, Murphy. Jones went in a second time. James Rowe with his first inside 50 touch, I think. Little handball to Lynch, who on his left kicked it higher than he did long. Now it comes to Murphy. He just throws it on the boot towards the goal and will sneak through for the one behind, sending the Crows to 9-7-61. 42 points in arrears of Port Adelaide, 15-13, 103.
Just hasn't quite read the ball yet, Lockie Jones. He's been under the ball a lot of times when he's gone to mark them, if you know what I mean. He's just mistimed his run a little bit, but that'll come to him, no doubt about it. Dixon in the middle of the pack, didn't take the mark, brought it to ground for Houston, handled in the path of Georgiades, short pass Fantasia, didn't take the mark, needs to get rid of it. Hamill was bearing down on him, Rosie. What can he do now in front of goal? He's beaten to the footy but applied the tackle. Crows back with numbers. Kelly gets a short pass or loose in defence. Crows will have to work hard. Rowe picks it up. Little short pass is good. Crows working hard out of defence. Brodie Smith finds Murphy now at centre wing.
Murphy's got a runner going by in Butts, who didn't make perfect contact with the football. Wants Fogarty to fly. He's worked underneath it by Alir, who won it at the second chance. Here's that man, Jones, gets it away from Frampton. Keys intercepts. Fogarty with the one hand, strong, manages to create an opportunity for Rowe. Who's he got inside 50? He's going to have to kick it long, but he doesn't want to do that. Instead, he goes shorter to O'Brien. Spoiled away from him by Wines. Jones is getting really busy in this last quarter. Hately spins towards the football. Could Keys kick another goal? It's smothered off the boot, so he won't. And now Bergman has an opportunity to clear for Port Adelaide.
Did well. Young man, very cool in heavy traffic. Short pass was good for Bonner. Bonner at half-back. Goes real short again. Finds Houston. Houston backwards a long way. Hartlett on his lonesome. Inside defensive 50. Will go to the other half-back flank. Port Adelaide working it through Amon to the ruckman at centre wing, Lyset. Chip over the top. Not good players when they do it from a standing start. They rarely make good contact, as we saw then. However, out of trouble though. Amon has got the footy again. One of Port Adelaide's better players today. The long left foot kick will go inside 50, and I think Big Charlie was being held, and he'll get the free kick.
Yeah, I think Jake Kelly, found himself with a much bigger man and just tried to wrap him up momentarily to not let him extend those big arms up and take a mark, and the umpire saw it. He was on the same side as Kelly was infringing, and Dixon will line up 45 metres out directly in front, kicking right on 50. Try and kick Port Adelaide's 16th goal of the day. Been a high-scoring game of football, and thankfully, not a whole lot of it in this second half coming from the new on-the-mark rule. That kick from Dixon will be the 16th goal for Port Adelaide. 16-13, 109. They return the three-quarter time deficit. It's 48 points the margin, Adelaide 9-7, 61, and we are nearly 9 minutes into this fourth quarter.
Yeah, nice kick from Charlie from 50. Can sometimes be wayward, but when he kicks them like that, he looks fantastic. Beautiful kick of the footy when he's on. And you're right about the 50. Look, we've seen one today, which went against Riley O'Brien. And as we said at the time, I think even the umpire was apologetic for it. But luckily, it hasn't marred this game here today.
There was a few in the earlier game, in the AFL Trial Game, that I reckon would have had people a little bit worried about what the spectacle might be on occasion this year. And the only one we've seen is one where Lycett baited O'Brien into moving off the mark by telegraphing a potential hand pass. But subsequent to that, everyone's managed to stick to the new rules.
So 109 plays 61. Port Adelaide in control here at the Alberton Oval. 9.5 minutes gone, final term. Laddams has a second bite at it, but stolen from him in the middle. Scholl, in fact, Seedsman gets the kick away to half forward. Jones pushed his opponent under it. Keys, he was held on to, but the umpire said play on, nothing in it to Rowe. Rowe knows where the goals are. Can he kick when he can? Yeah. Well done, Jimmy Rowe. Oh, his dad will be proud of that one. He'll love it.
Yes, he will.
I can hear him from the grandstand.
Yeah, I think the roof might have come off. That's the quintessential James Rowe goal, isn't it?
Yep.
He was at the front of the contest, but Keys won it. And Keys has been terrific with his work forward of the football in this game. Had a kick couple himself, and that time he gave one off to Rowe. He's a class finisher in that situation. Didn't look like missing.
Nah, well done. And that's what they want to see from him this year. If he can do 2 or 3 of those every week, he'll earn his money. No worries about that. Adelaide 10-7, 67. Port Adelaide 16-13, 109. All thanks to Balfours here at the Alberton Oval.
It's a slightly different mix in the midfield for both sides now. Travis Boak's in there, but Zach Butters starting at this bounce. Harry Schomburg, Jackson Haitley, Laird, and it'll be Laddams and O'Brien to do the ruck work. That might be recalled. No, the umpire's decided it's been a long day. Yeah. No, he did recall it. Had second thoughts. So we'll get the ball thrown up on this occasion. O'Brien and Laddams. Laddams got really high. Neither player got hands to the ball, but Laddams did the roving of his own work in the end. Turned and just hit Motlop lace out. Now Motlop will kick it into a dangerous position in the pocket. I think the umpire might have called... Did he call a free kick or has he paid the mark to Butts? Either way, Butts is the football. Just went over the back and he read it well, Butts. What's he got ahead of him? A lot of contested stuff, it looks like. So that's where he goes. Wants O'Brien to make it look good. McAdams at the back. He's got Rowe running for him for the handball. He'll get it here, Rowe, but he's going to have a heap of power players on him. He tries to get rid of a couple. Got rid of one, but he couldn't lose Dersmer, and the ball will get thrown in at centre wing outer side.
Front of the Williams family stand, a famous stand here at Alberton Oval. So throw in Laddams. O'Brien makes front position. Laddams at the back though, plucked it out of the air. He was caught. Oh, that should have been holding the ball maybe. The umpire's letting it go. Now he comes in to ball it up. Still at centre wing. On the grandstand side of the Alberton Oval, Rockcliffe picks himself up. The ruckmen go at it. Boak in there fighting for it for Port Adelaide. Can't get out. Laird tackles. Good tackle it is too. And again, the umpire will come in and ball it up centre wing.
Bit of bounce down. 42 points the margin. Hasn't. The Crows could be happy it hasn't quite got to the blowout stage that we feared it might halfway through that third quarter. Much better earlier in this term. That free kick will go to Dersmer though. So they'd kicked 2 of those simple goals. Jones and there was another in that third quarter. Might be talking about a 4-goal margin or some such. Not to be. It goes over the back. Working back into the football. Oh, everyone stopped and waited. Lynch eventually managed to gather it. Gets it to Butts with a handball that put his teammate under pressure. Good. It was terrific pressure. Bonner has spent a little bit of time forward. Handball goes out towards the wing. Oh, Amon has it. And Port Adelaide just have all day to make decisions in their forward 50 at the moment. Cleary's got it. What will he do now? Crows players have gotten back, so he has to kick up towards a contest you'd expect, and it's Dixon who takes... No, it's an uncontested mark by Charlie Dixon. The only man in the area was Harry Schomburg, who would have needed to be at the very top of a big ladder to affect any sort of spoil on that football. So Charlie Dixon, he's already kicked one in this quarter from a similar distance, albeit this angle slightly more difficult. Can it be the 7/8 goal for Port Adelaide on the day? His run up. It's been good, Charlie. Good learning experience for the young Crows defenders too, getting to play against someone of his calibre, and he's kicked a magnificent
Beautiful
goal.
kick.
That's a fantastic kick from Charlie Dixon. 2 big goals from 50 this quarter, and Port Adelaide moved to 17-13, 115 ahead of the Crows. 10-7-67. It's back to 48 points, 14 minutes gone in the fourth quarter.
Well, we've pointed it out a couple of times, but good attacking footy from both sides. To see 17 goals played, 10 goals, and there could have been more. We've seen a couple of easy misses as well. It's not the sort of footy we saw in 2020, is it? There are a lot of very, very low-scoring dour games. So let's hope this is the sign of what we'll see in 2021.
There was a period in the second quarter it bogged down for 10 minutes, and it's really the only part of the game where the ball hasn't moved fluently from end to end.
Yep.
Other than that, it's been a really, really pleasant spectacle.
So there's been a change in the ruck. Lycett back on for Port Adelaide. Frampton comes into the ruck for Adelaide. So he has been the backup to O'Brien here this afternoon. So I wonder if that's the way they'll go for the season ahead. Frampton kicked a couple of handy goals up forward as well. He's had a pretty good day. Good bounce from the umpire. Straight up. Plenty of height. Lycett got the tap. Port Adelaide out of the middle through Wines. Cut off though at halfback Kelly. Handballs to Hamill. Hamill runs hard, kicks with the left out towards Keys, just about Adelaide's best player. Burne-Jones goes with him. Hartlett as well. And the ball gets to the boundary line. We'll have it thrown in. True centre wing position on the grandstand side of Alberton Oval. But
interested to see the positions Keys have been taking up this game. He's tended some centre bounces early, but has sort of set up forward of the ball, half-forward flank since then. Created a number of opportunities. He's been quite good in that role. Gee, that looked a little untidy. The umpire says play on. Drew will come away with it. On his right foot, kicks Port inside 50. Where's Dixon? He's just worked under the ball by Butts. Oh, he fumbled it, and Georgiades did the crumbing work. He's got Dersmer outside 50, a couple leading to the pocket, and it should be a mark and shot on goal to Port Adelaide, and it will come from Farrell. He looked to play on quickly, but as the Crows players work back, it might be a shot, and the distance is... It's not going to be an issue for him, I suspect, although he doesn't look particularly
He's looking
confident.
to give off,
Yeah. Let's see what he does here. He's not shaping to kick for goal, and he doesn't. He just leaves it 20 metres out. Oh, Georgiades flew, wasn't able to take the mark. Good crumbing from Butters, who got himself a little close to Jake Kelly and had to invent a kick. And unfortunately, it's careened into the post and for just the one behind.
From the goal square. He's at the post.
Goal square. Yeah, he knew he had to get around one. I think Jake Kelly being there too may have just surprised him.
17-14, 116 Port Adelaide. Adelaide at 10-7-67. Long kick goes all the way to the middle. Crows claim it, but then Port Adelaide apply the tackle. Schomburg, though Scholl, in fact, off hands pretty good. Ends up with Murphy. Murphy retreats backwards. Hamill very short pass. Now Schomburg. Schomburg plays on, runs hard through the middle. Chip pass is terrible. Goes straight to Burne-Jones. And there was no other Crow there. I don't know what he saw there. But anyway, now it comes to Farrell. Farrell runs to half forward, wants to give off. This is a bad kick too. He picks out an opponent. And big Charlie Dixon comes in to apply the tackle. Ollie Wines untidy. Kick along the ground. Motlop can do something clever. Yes, no. Kicks around the body. Goes to the goal square. And it dribbles through for a minor score. So some untidy footy from both sides. To be fair, they'd be getting pretty tired out there right now, I reckon. 7-15 Port Adelaide, 10-7 the Crows.
Well, I tell you, at every scoring shot at the moment, half the field goes down on their haunches just to get 30 seconds to suck in the big ones. Fatigue is certainly playing a part now. The game's really spread out. Not a lot of contests. Crows will be hoping they can manufacture some scoring shots. Lycett works Frampton under the football. Crumbing at the back is Hartlett. Houston arches the back. Terrific tackle from Keys.
Well done.
The umpire says holding the ball. They want to play on quickly. Lynch did, and he might be actually saved from a kick that wasn't necessarily to his team's advantage. The umpire pulls it back, gets it to Keys, who, as you say, has played a terrific game. He's been excellent. Former Brisbane player. Terrific year last year, being upgraded to the main list. Kicked some goals today, given off one to James Rowe. Made a good tackle there. Here he goes inside 50. He wants Frampton on this occasion, who flies out. It's spoiled away from him, and we'll get a throw in out in that right-hand forward pocket. The margin is 50 points, 17-15, 117 to 10-7, 67. So Port won the last quarter by just 2 points to this point of the quarter. We're right just over the halfway mark, 18 minutes in.
So Frampton, some strong body work, comes to Seedsman. Seedsman, handball over the top for Schomburg, who's been a good player. Schomburg just throws it onto the boot quickly, was under the pump. Alier doing some tough body work deep in defence, but the Crows will come away with it in the pocket, working hard. And in the end, a good interception from the Port Adelaide defence.
Really ambitious from Fogarty, claiming the mark there, I think.
So throw in right forward pocket for Adelaide. Lysette looks like Fogarty's going to do the ruck work this time. He is. Gives away a fair bit of height, but he's a very strong lad, as we know. Off hands, it comes to Rowe. Rowe gets the handball away under pressure. Drew for Port Adelaide. Now Ollie Wines. His kick smothered. Good defensive work, Adelaide. Wines comes through again. Well played, Jimmy Rowe. Handball in tight. Smothered. Cut off again by Wines. It'll come to Drew. Drew picks it up. His kick smothered. Should go out of play. No, Rosie kept it alive. McAsey now. And there was a high tackle definitely there. And McAsey will get a free kick for Adelaide at centre wing.
Thought he might let it go out of bounds there, but Rosie still late in this trial game, looking at great scoring opportunities. As the free kick comes to Fischer McAsey. He'll drive the Crows inside 50. Fogarty went early. I think he might have given away a free kick. He did. He wanted the sit. Didn't really happen. And it's a free kick that's going to be over to Lysette, who just dropped in front. Took one good strong mark earlier, Fogarty. One nice play at the other end too, where he got rid of an opponent, but otherwise tough work in the forward line. That's a terrific mark by Fischer McAsey. The Crows will be wanting to see a bit more of that from the former number 6 overall pick in the AFL draft. Good for his confidence, that moment there. He wants Frampton or Fogarty, and flying high was Jones, and Frampton stayed down and took the mark, and he could line up to kick his 3rd of the day.
I'm sorry to pick on it, but again, I just feel Jones...
Oh, it was 50. Yeah, someone said something.
There's a bit of mouthing off, and it looks like Lysette might have been the person there. But Lockie Jones, again, just flew miles before the ball had actually arrived. He's just timing things. He's just a little bit off with it.
Confidence not an issue, though. Confidence not an issue. He's happy to fly. He doesn't look to be looking for the body of his direct opponent. But, yeah, just not reading it particularly well on that occasion. And Frampton has run in and kicked a goal. No man on the mark, just 15 metres out. He's had a really, really good day, Billy Frampton. Maybe a bit of a surprise to have come in the side at the expense of Elliot Himmelberg, who was the incumbent late last year. But he played well last week, and he's backed it up again with good form this week, and he's firming to play round 1.
Yeah, I think you're right. No doubt about that. He's been a real shining light today. The positives from the Crows' point of view, I think Tex Walker up forward has been good. Keys has been very, very good, probably their best player. And certainly Frampton. And Port Adelaide, well, they've had many contributors. A lot of players have had plenty of the footy. Carl Amon, a real shining light. Motlop's first half was very good. He's fallen out of it a bit now, but they are two that certainly stood out in that first half.
I think most Crows fans will agree today that all the best times came in the game before this one.
Yep.
And they've held up in this last quarter reasonably well, but the scoreboard looking like most would have predicted. And for Port Adelaide, this is the game that they'll take most heart from, I suspect, looking every part of the contender.
Laddams and O'Brien. O'Brien gets the tap away. Seedsman has had a couple of good clearances in this quarter. Laird goes in with strength and aggression. Same Ollie Wines. He copped a high one. Copped a real knock. And which way is this one going? It's going to go to Wines for that high tackle that he copped. Ollie Wines. From the middle. Goes long for Port Adelaide. They haven't done a lot of this. They've really chipped the ball around a bit and worked their way forwards. Off hands. Chance for Butters, who ran into an open goal moments ago and hit the post from the goal square. It wasn't a total open goal. The reason he hit the post was Kelly got in his way and he tried to chip it over his head from a metre in front of him. But anyway, it was a bit comical. This time Jones does time it beautifully. Gets the fist in there. Chance for Lynch. Clever play to Murphy. Murphy chips a pass to the middle. Doesn't find his teammate though. Allows Burton through. Burton's handball wasn't too flash. Put his teammate under the pump. Port Adelaide through. Hartlett now finds Rosie. Rosie one way then the other. Gee, made that look easy, but he had to beat 3 Crows. And now feeding the pass through. Burn-Jones finds Hartlett. Hartlett goes to the lead. Oh, gee, too much on it. And there was a little push in the back, was there? And it's a Port Adelaide free kick to Farrell.
Just eased his opponent under the football, did Will Hamill. Had a nice moment previously with a chase down tackle that created a turnover, but that time didn't quite read it as well.
It was Butters. Butters now short to Rosie. He's called to play on. So Houston, from a standing start, looks for big Charlie. Charlie, he's bowled a few over there. Crikey. He's come steam training through. And everyone's hit the deck. So Crows free kick.
It was Jackson Aitley who put himself in harm's way. Can't fault the commitment. 23 minutes into the second trial match, you might have forgiven him for being a little bit more judicious with where he puts his body, but he won his team a free kick. Now it's McPherson. Don't feel like he's been beaten, McPherson. He's done all right, and that's a good mark taken by Drew. Here we mentioned his last competitive fixture was the 2019 Sandford Grand Final. He's played a lot of time in the midfield today, and he's taken a good mark there. He can cap off his day with a goal here. Just outbodied young Will Hamill. He's directly in front. It'll be the Powers' 18th goal. Currently, the margin is 52 points. 4 points ahead in this final term at Alberton. All thanks to Balfour's on the Crows and Port official websites. Drew comes in, 45 out, directly in front, on his right. Umpire doesn't move. It's a goal. He's capped off some good work and a good day. Willem Drew, 18-15, 123, 11-7, 73. That now makes the margin 50 points.
Yeah, will he work his way into the round one team, Willem Drew? Very, very hard to get into this side. Round one selections are going to be very interesting for Port Adelaide, but do we read anything into the fact that he's been picked in this side today, or are they having a look at him, or is he a cert? I just wonder. But when he's been given his opportunities over the years, I don't think he's let Port down at all. He's been very, very good. But he finds himself at a strong club at the moment with a strong list. So he has found it hard to get game time. So 25 minutes gone. 5 minutes remain. 30-minute quarters here today with no time on. And Port Adelaide in control. 123 plays 73, all thanks to Balfour's here at the Alberton Oval. Bounce down. Frampton doing well. Wins the tap, then wins the footy. Got tackled. Did he get rid of it? Yes, he did, but it goes to Drew. Drew, the man we were talking about, gets it out to Dersma. Dersma, long kick. He's kicked 3 goals today, Dersma. He's had a pretty good day. And Big Charlie went early, and he's earned himself a free kick. And it often happens. When you're up against someone much bigger and stronger, you tend to do things that you shouldn't. You give away free kicks because he's such a big, imposing figure. He's kicked 2 good goals from a long way out, from 50 metres out in this final term. This one's a little bit closer for Charlie. He'll be 45 out, so the distance won't be a problem.
He's had a couple of rangefinders at this end in this quarter. He's been kicking the ball beautifully.
On his way in. This one looks pretty good too, although the umpire's moving, so minor score.
Mozzed him successfully.
Yep. 18-16, 124 Port Adelaide. The Crows 11-7, 73 deep into this final term.
Yeah, we are getting right up towards the end of this second, well, first trial game between the two clubs of 2. But second following internal trials for both the clubs. Laddams takes a good mark. Cut off well by Keys. He didn't see him coming. He wanted Rockcliffe in the centre square. Keys looks up. He doesn't have options on the wing. No one's led for him on the near side. And Scholl goes now into some space that had been created and will take the mark. Scholl, 3 votes against Carlton in a game last year. One of the bright young stars of the Adelaide Football Club. On his right, will kick it up towards Frampton. It's going to fall short, and it's going to be Hartlett who really set off without an opponent, was able just to read the flight of the football and win it fairly easily in the end. Gets it back towards Motlop, whose first quarter was just scintillating. He opened up incredibly well for Port. Now Jones, ball in hand, kicks it out towards the outer wing. McHenry tries to close down his direct opponent. And Bergman with Rowe in front of him. A couple of moments. Miles Bergman, the former first round pick for Port Adelaide. Pick 14 in 2019. Interesting the way Bonner's been used today. A lot forward. And that's why not when you can use the football like that? And that's another mark that's been taken by Charlie Dixon. Geez, he's taken out a few kicks from right on this spot, I think, in this quarter. He could well have kicked 4 goals in this quarter.
Yep.
He just gives it off there.
Oh,
that's a little...
That's very lackadaisical. Gee.
That's a bit of late game. Late day trial game.
Handed off to Farrell, and Farrell was just jogging.
He was sick of kicking for goal, I think, Charlie.
Yeah, and Hamill ran him down. Well done to Hamill, though.
Yeah.
He was alert, and it was good.
Stayed awake to the danger and wins himself a free kick. Nearly 28 minutes gone now. Finds Jake Kelly at true centre half back. Kelly, little short kick to Schomburg. He's working his way into the year. He's had a better game this week than he did last week. A lot expected of him too, like Scholl. Played a lot of footy last year. Here's Fogarty. Can't win the football. It's Motlop again with another touch. Dribbles a little one up towards the wing, and it's this man, Charlie Dixon. He can't run away from the football at the moment. Kicks it up inside 50, and it's McAsey all by himself. Fumbled the mark, tries to get away with it, and looked very untidy. And he was tackled, and everyone looked at the umpire appealing for something. They figured something had gone wrong, and it's just going to be thrown in. 90 seconds remaining in this contest.
Over by the bowling green, throw in. So Port Adelaide, right half forward flank it is. Frampton Caught behind, tries to work his way in front. Lysette got a little tap away. Schomburg at ground level. Crows have the numbers. They come away with the footy from halfback. Kick towards centre wing. Jones gets up high. Big collision. He's as tough as anything. He really is. Here's a big chance for Adelaide now. Through Walker. Kicks them inside 50. Oh, gee, no mark taken. It was a one-on-one. Burton did well. And that was against Frampton. And Port Adelaide should be able to clear now. But a real chance gone begging for Adelaide on that occasion. The ball now with Hartlett in front of the Bobby Quinn stand. Hartlett at halfback. So Tommy Jonas has to work his way back into this back six. So someone's got to go. Don't know who it'll be, but obviously the skipper would be in the side for round one. As Port Adelaide through the middle of the ground, it comes to Jones, now to Bergman.
Now Bergman, just 30 seconds remaining in the contest now. Probably Port the only side that could add to the scoreboard. Rockcliffe out towards Motlop over his head. He's got Hamill closing him down. Can handball it over the top though to Boak, and on his left foot he's kicked into the pocket, and they will have a chance to add to the score, Port Adelaide, through Fantasia. Albeit, I suspect, might be asking a bit of him from this distance. The siren has gone, and so Fantasia will kick after the siren. Does he kick it, Ditz?
I'll back him in.
All right. Ditz has backed him in. He'll be kicking from right on 50. Let's have a look at the Port Adelaide recruit. Traded for pick 29 from Essendon. On his right, he went for distance. Not bad, but he's just targeted to the near side. That'll make it the final score. 18-17, 125. Port Adelaide 52-point winners over the Crows. 11-7, 73. It looked like it was going to get ugly in the third quarter, but the Crows held it to just the 4-point margin after that in the last quarter. Big thanks to Balfours for sponsoring the live feed on both the Crows and Port Adelaide's official website. Thanks to you, Ditz, as well. Again, repeating the big talking point out of the game, certainly from the Crows' perspective, is not the kind of story they would have liked to come away with today.